So I hope that you can understand me. So I would like to welcome everyone here and wish you all a very pleasant evening ahead. Thank you for coming, our clients, extended maritime colleagues and friends. It is a real honor that you have dedicated your evening to spend the time with us. BSM has now been in part of the Greek shipping community for almost 13 years. We are one of the few lucky third-party managers that have established our place here. We have worked closely and tried hard to support local owners over the years, building strong relationships along the way. And we certainly remain focused on a progressive future by your side, to provide flexible solutions and to assist in helping achieving the specific strategic goals of each owner and potential owner. Today we'd like to speak to you about how BSM sees the future in ship management and present to you our ideas for evolution of the maritime industry. One of the main driving forces behind our efforts and the most important asset we all have is the human element of our organizations, both at sea and ashore. I always say that a vessel is as good as the crew who sail on board. So administrative requirements are ever increasing. So we must make an effort to support our people and take steps to make their working life easier. A key focus, therefore, is digitalization, which allows faster centralized data access and work processes, significantly lessens the possibility of error, as well as further improving transparency ship to shore, which is of great benefit to employees, clients, and vessels. So we would like to briefly tell you about MariApps Marine Solutions, as well as our endeavors in fleet performance management. So here tonight to say a few words in light of this theme, our BSM corporate colleagues who are visiting us for this event is Mr. Ian Beveridge, our Chief Executive Officer of Schulte Group, Mr. Christoph Schulte, Bernhard Schulte Chief Shareholder, Mr. Sankar Ragavan, the CEO of MariApps Marine Solutions and Schulte Group CDO, Chief Digital Officer. Mr. Amitabh Sakranti, Director MariApps Innovation Hub. And Mr. Frank Palαιοκρασσάς, Corporate Manager, Fleet Performance. So we are going to have two short presentations, but before we do that, let me hand over now to Jan Beveridge and Christoph Schulte. So the floor is yours.
Yeah, good evening, everybody, and also from my side, thanks to all for coming, for spending your precious time. I know that everybody is trying to rest before Pοσειδωνίων, so we really appreciate that you found the time to listen to what we have to say. Just a brief introduction about me. Since the beginning of this year, I'm the CEO of Bernhard Schulte Shipmanagement. However, I'm not new in the Schulte Group. I've been working for Bernhard Schulte for 27 years. And since 2001, I've been the CEO of Bernhard Schulte in Hamburg, with basic direct responsibility for our ship owning business. So since the beginning of this year, I also took over direct responsibility for the ship management business. And that's why I hope to meet as many of our customers and potential customers as possible. Well, since I'm rather new on the ship management side, I want to say a few words about the ship owning part. As I say, I've been working for Bernhard Schulte for a long time, and in that time I've seen some ups and downs. The ups and downs were very nice. Before Lehman, we all enjoyed a few euphoric years of high earnings, but that has been followed by a rather long and protracted crisis. I read somewhere the worst shipping crisis since 1845. I'm not sure how somebody works that out, but it's been pretty bad, as I think everybody can agree. But now it seems to be over. So as Bernhard Schulte, we're now looking ahead and trying to decide how to renew and modernize our fleet. But that is not so easy, and therefore I'm hoping to get some advice from all the ship owners that are here tonight. The Greeks are still the world champions at ship owning, so we look forward to getting some good hints on what to do. But for me it looks like it's a very difficult decision right now whether to order ships and what kind of ships to order, and that I would like to just talk about for a few minutes. So that we can then exchange views. Basically, I would like to cover three areas. One is the timing of ordering, the other is the demand situation, and the third are the technological changes. As regards timing, well, I read somewhere that one should always buy cheap and sell high. Is this the right time to order ships? Well, of course, we have the lowest prices have already passed. The last 5 years we've seen some real opportunities for ordering ships, but I think since then the new building prices have recovered at least 20% in some segments, maybe a bit less. We're not going to get any real bargains now, but the question is whether ships are going to get much more expensive in the next years. I think that's also difficult to see. The shipyard capacity utilization is about 70% at the moment. However, that will drop significantly in the next years. For example, going down to 54% next year in Korea. So it's difficult to see how new building prices will really increase dramatically. So at least on the timing side, in my view, there's not too many signals to order vessels now, unless of course you have some nice cargo lined up. Another aspect is the financing of these vessels. The landscape has also changed dramatically, at least in Germany. All the German banks have pulled back from shipping. Well, HSH Nordbank claims to still want to do some, but it's it's a trickle compared to what they used to do in the past, and the other German banks have also jumped out of financing vessels. So, of course, good accounts, good corporate accounts can still get money, but it's not so easy. Well, look, you can also turn to the Chinese, and maybe I'll come back to that a bit later. And the other factor about ordering a ship now is, well, what kind of design will you order? We are still not really seeing radically new or modern designs. We have improvements to the old designs, but nothing where you think we are talking about a ship that is really fit for the future. But I come back to that as well on the last point. Yeah, as regards the demand factors, well, I would say, and possibly a lot of you will agree, in all segments we have a severe overcapacity of tonnage. So what do we need to really change that? I think on the macro side we can expect sea freight or sea cargo growth in the next years, decades. The world population is growing. People are becoming more wealthy, so there will be trade growth. But I think in the nearer term, and of course we cannot think much further than the nearer term, there are quite a few other possible game changers or partial game changers. The one that is, of course, on everybody's lips is the fuel price, 2020. What will that mean for us? Will it be good for us ship owners, or will it be bad? I guess good could be more slow steaming. Bad could be what we are already seeing now in the container segment. Players like Maersk saying they will cancel services because the fuel costs are too high. And that is today. One can only imagine what will happen in 2020. So that is a big uncertainty. And of course, we have to also consider how to deal with these uncertainties. Another issue that worries me a bit is the role of the tramp ship owner. Bernhard Schulte is traditionally a tramp ship owner. We don't have our own cargoes. It's difficult to really see how we can compete against big orders placed by the end users, which is happening. They simply turn to a shipyard, get a good price, and get the financing from a leasing bank, normally in China. So there are big fleets of vessels being ordered by the end users, and including the container ship, the container lines, the big dry bulk commodity players, the tanker operators or traders. They control the cargo, so they can hedge the risks. So it's difficult to see how the small tramp owners like us can really compete in this environment. So, I think there's been structural changes to how our business works, and maybe not positive for the tramp owner. So I don't have my glasses on and I don't have much light, but I try and work out what notes I made here. I think the global trade model is also changing. The growth in China might be slowing. We also have nationalization. What I mean there is, for example, the phenomena we have in the United States now with the Donald declaring trade wars on various countries. How the EU will respond to what's happening is going to be interesting. It could escalate, and that will affect our trade. There's more regionalization, so that will also affect some of the deep sea trades, at least on the container vessels. There are changes to their energy mix, which means there will be losers and winners. Possibly one of the winners will be the LNG trade. So, I think otherwise on the demand side there could be a few other geopolitical threats that have come onto the radar quite recently. One is the situation in Iran, which seems to be much worse this time around. It looks like the Americans are pushing for regime change, which could destabilize the whole region further. We have the situation in Italy with the new government. Italy has a public debt of $2.3 trillion euros, the highest in the EU and fourth highest in the world. If the new government decides they don't want to pay that back or service their debts or move out of the EU or the Eurozone, that could also create a huge chaos in our part of the world at least. Or what one economist recently wrote is, Italy is too big to fail, but possibly also too big to save. So, the other country that is also not hugely stable is Venezuela, which obviously affects the dynamics of the oil price and the oil industry. So a lot of uncertainties on the demand side. And then I move to the third area that I would like to briefly talk about in terms of what we need to consider when ordering new vessels. And that is the technological changes. So how should a ship look that we order now in order to be competitive in 2040, which is means the vessel will be barely 20 years old. In my opinion, it's very hard to know what that ship should look like. Maybe in the past it was always like that, but I think things are really changing faster now than ever before. So obviously the big issue is the fuel discussion. What kind of propulsion system, what kind of fuel should we have on board? I think everybody has talked a lot about scrubbers. It's a rather emotional topic with some very strong supporters and some very passionate opponents. That's going to keep all of us busy the next years. The other possibility is, of course, operating the vessels on LNG, which is also picking up a little bit, but that's an expensive installation, and who knows how the LNG price differential will develop compared to the other fuels that we are able to take on board. Besides the conventional carbon-based fuels, there's also other possibilities such as wind. At least two of the bigger players, mass tankers, Cargill, are experimenting with Flechner rotors, and maybe in some years' time that becomes a reality to have vessels propelled again by wind. Or maybe there's other fuels that we don't know about today, or at least I don't know about. So when ordering a vessel now, I really wouldn't know what kind of fuel system to install. And the other area is, of course, the digitalization. So how should our ships accommodate these developments that we have already and that we expect? The ships will be connected to the shore. Everything will be transparent. There will be 24-hour monitoring of everything that is happening. How do we prepare our ships for that? It's, I guess, mostly a question for the equipment on board, but I don't think we want to order ships now and then in 5 years have to replace the equipment because it's not connectable. We also have to consider how our ships can be designed to be safer using the digital advances, artificial intelligence, real-time information, integrated ECDIS, and navigation systems. So I think there's still a lot of work to be done before we are building ships that are really able to accommodate the digital changes that will happen. And I think we will also have to consider smaller crews. So that is also a factor of the digitalization, and also because ships will at least be partially autonomous, but also because I think the crewing shortage will become a reality, or at least the skills shortage will become a reality in due course. So summing up, at least for me it looks difficult to decide on what kind of ship to order and for what market, but I look forward to hearing some good ideas from my our distinguished guests. I think that is what I wanted to briefly cover, and I hope you can all keep concentrated for the next topics and enjoy the evening, and thank you again for coming. And there's a beautiful sunset.
Good evening, dear customers, dear guests, dear BSM colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. As I prepared my speech tonight, I thought it would be an easy task to understand the Greek shipping cluster and to describe it in a few simple words. For Germany, where the majority of the shipping activity is focused on the container trades, I would have comfortably chosen the word box-minded. Greek bulkers constitute 22% of the world fleet by deadweight, and Greek tankers top it even, making 30% of the world fleet by deadweight. However, the maritime cluster here is much more diverse than that, it appears. Just looking at the guests here tonight, we can see, besides the aforementioned categories, we can see chemical tankers, we can see container ship, we can see salvage vessel, we can see LNG, and we can see LPG owners. This shows that the Greek maritime industry is extremely diverse, and this, together with its cosmopolitan outlook, its rich maritime heritage, and its reliance on equity financing, is probably part of its success in an extremely highly competitive and global shipping industry. Today, based on the active share of the Greek owners in the recent new building activity, the Greek fleet is comparatively young and modern and stands to benefit from upcoming regulatory changes like the 2020 0.5 sulfur cap, and also stands to benefit from increasing charterer and regulatory focus on emission reduction and energy efficiency. With our presence in Greece, we are proud to be part of this market since 2005 already. We sincerely thank our existing customers for their loyalty and trust. We are keen to continue to support the Greek shipping community by offering safe, reliable, and efficient ship management services, along with complementary maritime solutions. As owner cum manager, we believe we are in an advantageous position to tackle any day-to-day issues with a better understanding of the customer's needs. I would like to end this part with two thoughts. In 1999, the average time for an oil tanker to discharge in the port of Hong Kong was 66 hours. In 2017, it was 37 hours only. So port turnarounds have become much more efficient, and certainly not only for tankers. This means less time for the ship's crew to complete cargo and port documentation under higher pressure. Whilst we as ship managers cannot control the shore side, we can surely help our crews by reducing the administrative burden on board. One way to achieve this is through better ship management software, on board and ashore. With more and more younger and digitally native seafarers stepping up the ranks, we certainly see a high demand in this area. Finally, energy efficiency is becoming of increasing importance not only for us, but also for our customers. Maersk, for instance, centralized its fleet performance activities to a large degree in India, with approximately 50 dedicated vessel managers who are overlooking performance, giving advice to vessel owners, and also benchmarking entire owners' fleets. So we need to become more proactive and proficient in meeting such progressive demands. I take the pleasure, therefore, to hand over to Frank, who will provide more details on our initiatives here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Christoph. My name is Frank Palleokrassas. I'm the corporate manager of BSM, specifically targeting fleet performance. So a little bit about me. I'm a naval architect by background, and I started working here in Athens, first for a small ship owner and then for a large ship owner, before joining the Schulte Group in 2009. So after working there for a few years, 2 years ago I moved back to Athens to establish a new department, which since January this year has been called the Fleet Performance Center. And this is what I would like to talk to you about. So in broad terms, our mission, our ambitious mission, is to spearhead BSM into industry-leading operational efficiency and reliability. Now, I focus on the word reliability and efficiency rather than fuel savings because I think the majority of the ship owners joining us here are non-operating owners like BS. So in the end, the savings, the fuel savings, are not really reaped by the ship owner himself. Efficiency is a better way to market one's own fleet and to achieve possibly higher rates. And reliability at the end of the day means less of higher. So just to walk you through our goals, first of all, we want to maximize the ship reliability and availability, so no off-hire days as much as possible. We want to reduce OPEX, first by preventing catastrophic failures, of course, and then which could result in H&M claims, but at the same time by, in some cases, extending times between overhauls, thus leading to less maintenance costs. As any non-operating owner knows, at one time or the other we receive performance claims. And we all face our problems there, because every time we end up using different tools, and there is no industry standard for having these discussions. And in our case, because we're not using our own in-house tools, we didn't have a common approach. So one of our key goals here is to not only avert ship performance claim by early detection of performance drop, but also defend in a correct way. Of course, we want to optimize energy utilization on board, because very often the practices are substandard on board. We want to facilitate our customer reporting, us to our customers as well as our customers to their customers. And, of course, we want to minimize manual reporting, which falls back to what Christoph was saying before. And in that way, also increase accuracy of the data. So here I'm showing you a screenshot of the software that we have developed. This monitors the hull performance of the ship. And the vertical bars you see there are maintenance events. So this is a ship that was coated with substandard coatings. We had a bit of an issue there, so this indicates the number of times that some underwater maintenance had to be done. So our current scope includes monitoring of hull and propeller performance, main engine and auxiliary engines, and then lubricants and drain oil, because they're effectively blood tests for the ship. Coolant and boiler water, as any tanker owner knows, this is critical. Purifier efficiency, because we know that we have very serious challenges, especially leading up to 2020, with the type of fuels that we use on board. Cargo conditioning, because this is an underlooked area. Very often the ships end up consuming way too much fuel by heating up the cargo in an incorrect way, and likewise with cooling for gas tankers. And machinery maintenance, in our effort to move towards condition-based and predictive maintenance. And finally, auxiliary power management, with regards to how auxiliary generators, for example, are run on board. Now, what all of you here are top-class ship owners, so all of you already do this. the challenge here for us is to centralize everything and present everything in a standardized way across our entire group, which consists of, under BSM management, we have 360 ships of various types, as well as 10 ship management locations. So, talking about our platform, this is the standard arrangement of any shipping company. You have, first of all, the operational reporting, which takes place, whether this is from the ship's own reporting or from third-party service providers. Then there's the whole issue of maintaining, scheduling and reporting maintenance, and then there is the issue of spare part ordering. In between, you have some performance analytics, and then you have the users, the ships, the office, and the clients. So, with everything that we are doing internally within BSM, we are developing tools to facilitate each of these sections. So, we use software called Voyage for our ship reporting, PMS for maintenance, Purchase for purchasing, Performance, which is what we're doing here in Athens. And then you have what is displayed on board, the vessel module, and then the office module, and finally a platform that we call LifeFleet, which is web-based and web-based reporting to our clients. Of course, all of you do this. The main difference here is that for us, we run everything under one platform. It's all streamlined. It all runs under PAL, for which MariApps will talk about in a minute. And I think you can all understand the benefits of this integration. Giving an example, if you're talking about condition-based maintenance, for example, you have service data feeding directly into PMS, and then even scheduling ordering of spare parts. So with regards to our future development, as I said, predictive maintenance is the holy grail, not just for us, I think for the whole industry. With Pοσειδωνίων coming up, I think you'll hear this buzzword quite often. In our case, we want to advance from the current planned maintenance to condition-based maintenance and eventually to predictive maintenance. And achieving this, in order to achieve this, we will be using machine learning tools, so AI and everything that this entails. Performance benchmark is something that is very crucial for a ship manager our size, because you have to consider that we're talking about approximately, I think, 7 major ship types plus subtypes, and then 360 ships across 10 offices. So one needs to find a way to benchmark ships across all locations in one holistic manner, irrespective of the ship's size or type or everything. And finally, with regards to weather advisory, a lot of you use weather routing software on board. What we are moving towards doing is retrieving raw weather data to be displayed inside the vessel module in order to assist with passage planning. Before closing, what I would like to clarify here is that all this initiative that you see here, all this project, will come, at least at the very beginning, at absolutely no extra cost to our clients. So we want to be leaders in this field, and as such, we want to provide our customers with the absolute best performance that we can. So without further ado, I will pass this on to Sankar Ragavan, the CEO of MariApps, who will talk to you about the tools that we use.
Kalispero. Hello. Good evening. Thank you very much for coming. I'm sorry about the rain, which we didn't plan. I'm here to talk about the MariApps Marine Solutions, which provides digital solutions to the group and also to many external clients. My name is Sankar Ragavan. I'm the Chief Executive Officer for MariApps Marine Solutions. and also the Chief Digital Officer for the Schulte Group. My presentation will be split into two areas. We will also talk about some of the innovative solutions we are doing. I was very happy when Theophanis, our MD in Greece, suggested this meeting. I am very privileged to be standing here in front of the cream of Greece shipping community. I am really privileged and happy. Thank you for coming. MariApps Marine Solutions is a Bernhard Schulte company. We are in marine digital solutions, end-to-end solutions, from new building to dry dock, whatever you can imagine in ship owning and ship management business. We are providing an integrated solutions where you don't have to interface with any systems. It's single solutions running and completely taking care of everything you need in a ship management office. We have a large workforce based in many countries. Our development centers are in India. Our infrastructure centers are in Cyprus. We are in Germany. We just opened an office in the Middle East. We will be opening an office in Greece pretty soon. So I would love to talk to you after the meeting about the solutions we are going to present. The presentation is going to be short, but please feel free to come and talk to me. I would love to talk to you. These are the full set of modules we offer for both the ship management companies and ship owning companies. Digital disruption. So this is already going on. Our marine industry is kind of slow in taking off, but there is a lot of flurry of activity now, and we are catching up with, let's say, airline industry or others very rapidly. Digitalization is being adopted and being discussed and talked about. A lot of bigger and smaller mid-sized companies, and this is one of the areas I would like to focus quickly, and then also I would like to talk to you after the meeting. So what is the largest telephone company in the world? It's Skype, which does not own any network or any phones. Which is the biggest taxi company in the world? Uber, who doesn't own anything. So all these digital companies you see here, who worth multi-billion dollars, they pretty much own nothing. They are virtual, digitally operating. I'm not saying we are going to do that, because we are in the ship management business where we have to be physically present, but we can use digital solutions to be as nimble and as virtual and efficient like them. Seafarers. I think one of our speakers touched on this, I think Christoph. The seafarers, we need like 150,000 as per IMO and BIMCO in the next few years. So who are these people who we are going to hire? They are the younger generation, the millennials or Generation X, who are very familiar with technology, who are almost born with digital technologies, and they are very adept in using technologies. So the more digital solutions we put on board, the more efficient, and we have workforce which will be easily trainable. The data, the bandwidth, which was, you guys know this more better than me. 10 years back, the bandwidth was such an issue. Just exchanging information between the vessels and the office was a nightmare. Now a lot of vessels come with the VSAT, bandwidth no issue, and this is going to only get better. In another 2-3 years, unlimited bandwidth will be available in many of the new ships and some of the existing ships. Our fleet is like 75%. We have excellent bandwidth or good bandwidth. This is very important for digital solutions. These are the solutions we use in the Bernhard Schulte Group, and this is the solutions we market for our external customers. It's a completely intuitive, simple, easy to use solution, fully connected. You enter data in one module, everybody gets it, no need to do double entry, and it works through dashboards. Everything will be at the fingertip in dashboards. Everybody logs in, you get your own dashboard. All you have to do is work through the dashboards. Every information, you don't need to ask anyone else. You don't need to ask your secretary, give me this report. it will all be right here. You can pull in seconds or minutes. Many type of dashboards you can get. We have got like 250 plus dashboards in the PAL. Any information you want to see, crewing or voyage related, payroll information, crewing planning, everything will be dashboard based, which makes it much easier to simple to use, much easier to use. And voyage module, I told you, any operation data, operation details, you can see right on your dashboards and then real time. Life fleet. This is a module it's completely transparent to the ship owners. This is what we provide to the ship owners. We don't send the huge packets, we don't courier the statements, everything. Everything is now digital. The owners are able to come and see anything they want until they can drill down until the voucher level. They can ask questions. We have a chat built into that. Usually it takes like 45 days previously to close a statement, like the previous month. Now it takes probably less than a week. Mobile. So we are also completely into mobile. Most of our applications can run in mobile devices, mobile phones. We also have seafarer portal called the applications for our seafarers. Most of our seafarers now started communicating with the office only through their phones. They don't have to call office, they don't have to email the office, they don't have to text the office. Everything is done through mobile phones. Inspection reporting, which used to be a laborious, let's say 30 days, 45 days job. Now it's all in mobile devices, which will sync with the desktop application once you go back to office. These are all done in probably weeks now. It has cut down the amount of effort and amount of time needed to finish reporting. And this has tremendously increased the productivity in our organizations. Now I'll hand over to Captain Amitabh Sankranti, who is the Director of Innovations in MariApps, who will talk about some of the innovations we are doing currently. Thank you.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Shankar. While Shankar has done a great job of digitizing all the information, I, as a part of the Maritime Innovations Hub, have a great role in looking at all disruptive technologies and solutions. So let me run you through a few of the things that we are doing, and I'll try and keep it as brief as possible. Theo has already warned me, I need to keep the attention of everyone. All right, so as a part of innovations, we have been experimenting with EGDIS integration and all digital updates to the EGDIS and navigation warnings to the vessel. So we have our own device which can actually integrate all this information and push it to your EGDIS, as well as we can disintermediate a chart supplier and actually go to the UK Hydrographic Office to supply this information. And this also we have taken up in the overall picture of maintaining cybersecurity and making it a very seamless operation for the vessels. This is a solution that we're already working with in the eastern side, and it's something that we are going to be offering on the ship managed vessels too. It started off as an innovation product, and now it is very much going to be a part of the fleet. We're also looking at big data, and as the slide said initially, that big data was a buzzword. But how much of a buzzword is it now? Because after digitizing all this information in these various platforms and having it on a single platform, we are right now able to extract all that information, store it in our servers, integrate from even manual logs to digitized logs to sensor data coming. And like you see in these drawings, you get a scatter of various points and sensors, but we are able to finally distill it, fine-tune it, run our algorithms, and actually come out with trends which are meaningful. Besides that, we also have the ability right now of plugging in all your information from the vessel, from whatever sensor you may have, to various BI dashboards, which gives you a real-time monitoring center in your office. So these are all steps as we go forward, taking towards autonomous ships, but baby steps integrating all data flows that are there. Furthermore, as we speak, all the data that is there in Bernhard Schulte is being passed and taken in to set up an ontology. So we mentioned AI, but is AI a fiction or is it a reality? So at this point, what we are doing is we are building the ontology. Every term, maybe a DA disbursement, maybe any activity is actually getting parsed and stored into the system. Very soon, you will be having all these processes automated. Similarly, our BI dashboards, after taking out the information, are not just graphs and pie charts. So all the fancy part is over, and it actually is starting to give you solutions and prompt you as to what you need to be looking at. So that's, in a nutshell, how we are combining all the data and taking it forward. I've kept it as brief as possible, but the last one that we take right now is we are working on record keeping and using the blockchain for that as a compliance tool. And this, we are speaking with MPA Singapore at this point, and we have digitized an electronic oil record book and so also other logs, which then will be taken up into the blockchain. So this being a solution could be a standard that comes about if we can work with other stakeholders. So that's in all what we're doing in innovations, but I'm sure many more things will come up. And I'm glad I could hold your attention for a short while. We're open to any questions, and we're all here. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
So, thank you very much. Everybody, I believe that we are not so long in our speeches and presentations. So, enjoy the evening. We are going to have some nice music in a couple of minutes. I have to mention that we have our COO, Chief Operating Officer, Mr. David Furnival here. So he's the president of SICTO as well. So those involved in gas, they can talk to him and can ask any questions they may have. So enjoy the evening. Thank you very much for coming. Thanks a lot. Bye.